In this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps that I follow to write a literature review. I doubt it's going to be exhaustive because I can't imagine you're going to want me to go through that whole process. But I'm going to pull up the rubric that I've created for writing a literature review, and I'm going to start right here with the brainstorm topic. I've listed 4 steps that kind of makes transparent the process that I go through when I'm writing a literature review. And each of these, based on the rubric, the leftmost column is the best score that you can get. So these are the things that I don't often share or show. I just skip all the way down here to my lit review is finished. But there's a lot that goes into it, and the purpose of this video, or maybe a series of videos, is to show each of those steps. So I'm going to start right here, brainstorming the topic. And it says here that the notes are detailed, well organized, demonstrating all of the ideas that a student, me, generated, including those that were rejected, steps of the brainstorm along the way, with any AI engagement included. I don't tend to use AI for lit reviews, although I know a lot of my colleagues do, so no shade there if you use them. Everything's labeled, easy to follow, final topic is identified, rationale for choosing is given. Okay, so let's set that aside. We'll go over here with that. And so I've got my notes here. This will just be number 1, brainstorming topic. Let me make sure that first column is visible so you can see kind of the rationale for what I'm doing. So I kind of have an idea already. I am a college professor, a psychology professor, and a gen ed coordinator. So in my role as gen ed coordinator, I assess the gen ed outcomes. And there are a couple of things that I'm interested in, so research that I might do about designing the gen ed courses. So you know there's, I think, 7 areas of the gen ed core, depending on how you break them down. And ultimately, we want to know if our gen ed classes, so English classes, math classes, our lab sciences, social science, like lower level social science courses, do they actually promote the learning objectives that we say they promote? And so we assess that from the teacher's point of view. But what about the student's point of view? So basic topic, what does assessment look like for college students? You'll see I don't have a spell check on my Word Word program. That's because I don't like whenever like the AI of the Word program doesn't like my wording of something. I'm very intentional about like the language that I use, and so when it underlines something, I have to like pause and like reflect and look at it, and that gets me out of my train of thought. So that's just a little insight into the way that I think about things. So what does assessment look like for college students? What would happen if college students were consulted in this process? Now, I've already thought about this over the years, and so it's kind of unfair for me to jump in there. So let me walk you through some of my thought process for doing it, and then let me keep this on top. I think I should be able to type. Yep. Okay. So some ideas. We could interview students about what they like, don't like with gen ed courses. Ask students to design gen ed activities. Ask advanced students how well later courses build on the early courses. So these are all kind of like research questions, and maybe that's not where you're starting. So how else might you look at these? Maybe some ideas. Gen ed could be improved by, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something that isn't just like lame and familiar, like more interactive courses, more engagement. Well, of course, if they're more engaged, they'll be better, but what does that look like? We want to know about assessment from the student's perspective. So honestly, I don't even know where I would start. This sort of shows the importance of looking here more closely. Notice I don't have any decisions I've chosen not to do because I already have this idea. So what might other topics be? Let's say we could talk to other schools to see what they're doing. But I don't like this because other schools aren't us. And I would be most likely to talk to other professors at schools. And that defeats the purpose of what I'm getting at. So I'll cancel this idea. All right, what do I have here? Brainstorming notes are detailed and well organized, demonstrating all the ideas student generated, including those that were rejected. Steps of the brainstorm along with any AI engagement are included. Everything is labeled and easy to follow. Final topic and rationale for choosing is given. Okay. So this would be context. First idea, failed idea, more ideas, and in the end, I want to learn what it would look like if Gen Ed assessment programming was changed from the student's point of view. In other words, how might students organize Gen Ed differently? That's it. So those are my brainstorm topics. It's pretty clear. AI. I didn't use AI on this. Okay. I'm actually going to do this next one too because I think I can just connect them, and then the next step is going to be more exhaustive. So the next area, the next row of the rubric is collecting information and resources. So I need to get complete PDFs. So between 6 and 10, we'll target 6. But I'll walk you through my thought process for how many I need as I'm doing it. So my rationale for selection is given. I'm just gonna explain my rationale because I feel like I'm wasting too much time typing. Accuracy of each resource. Okay, and I'll talk about how I am interpreting each resource. So I will pull up my internet search window back here. I go to Galileo. So if you belong to the university system, you have access to this Galileo. It's a repository of lots of academic sources, and it looks like I may not be logged in. Let me see if it recognizes me. Good. Okay, so I go to the advanced search. I don't waste my time with the general searches. I feel like it gives me a bunch of irrelevant resources. So I'm going to put full text and peer-reviewed right away. And I want to search by keyword and title. That's usually the easiest way to do it. So title, I want general education and student feedback, student perspective. I'm going to put that. in quotations, so I know I want this whole thing together, not perspective somewhere in the title and then student somewhere in the title. I want the student's perspective, and let's see what that gives me. I'm just like throwing a dart into an empty room, like a dark space, hoping I hit something and just seeing what's out there. Okay, I got over 1 million results, which means it's not going to be very specific. Let me hide this. Nope, doesn't want to be hidden. Influence of small private online course. Okay, I need gen ed in quotations as well. No, it's just as many. I'm going to have to sift through a lot of crap here. So actually, let me document this. I'm starting to get the feeling that this might be dragging on and be boring. So I wonder if I can just like speed it up or just share all of it, and then you all can skip through if you want. I guess that's what I'll do. So that wasn't helpful. So I need to figure out this a little bit better. So what I like doing is picking a title, like a keyword, and then searching, and if I get 1 million, then like narrowing it down so I get 20,000, and then narrowing it down so I get 800, and then narrowing it down so I get 20, like that sort of thing. Then I know I'm on the right track, but this doesn't seem to be the right way to go. So let me try breaking this up a bit. We'll go title, I'll put general education. Then we'll do another title down here and put student led or student perspective, or I don't want to say student centered, because that's seldom actually student centered. 1 of 10 out of 11. There we go. That's what I want. Tourism, a student perspective, no. Student-led clinics, no. Spanish, no. How effective? All right, so there's only 6. Everything else was redundant. So this shows me that I'm not using the right vocabulary here. So let me search the internet, and what I'm doing is looking for the vocabulary used to describe this. I want to look for consistent use of vocabulary. So, how would students envision general education in college? A general education curriculum that matters doesn't sound like by students. Maybe that's what I need to put, by students. Let me put another search up here. Education by students in college. Notice what happens like when I do a search, it like predicts. This is the AI effect in search engines. It's predicting what I probably mean, but I was very careful with the order of the words that I used and the prepositional phrases. So it's telling me like gen ed requirements. Well, no, that's not what I want. That ignores students. It says it's written for students, not by students. I literally asked general education by students. Um, Definitions, why they're important. All right. See, this is why search engines aren't very helpful. General education designed by students. This is Gen Ed, student-driven assessment. Supporting student choice, that might be good. A bunch of assessment plans written by universities. Nope. This is a real toughie. Student-led. Has anybody included students in their gen ed planning? Well, you kind of get the idea of my rationale for going through this. I haven't found anything yet, and this is very unusual. So you can tell that I'm dealing with something that's genuinely novel, and it's almost horrifying that I can't find more information because it shows how institution-driven gen ed course design and assessment is that I can't even find examples of students. So I'm gonna pull the plug there because I'm getting all hot and sweaty knowing that I'm on camera and going through this process. So yeah, let me close it there, and then if I do find like a thread, I'll restart the video.